The million-dollar question that no one is asking. Why are toxic drugs classified under pharmaceutical grade, yet food dyes are not given that classification? They're certified for use, but they're not pharmaceutical grade. A lot of the toxic byproducts in food dyes are not even in drugs. That has never been tested long-term for biological effects on humans. Certain food dyes have been banned in Europe, but they are allowed in the US. The junk food industry that sells products with food dyes are heavily self-regulated. The FDA leaves it up to the food companies to do their own studies. There's also reports of FDA revolving doors. People who work in the food industry, now they're working for the FDA, and they go back to the food industry. In 2021, there was a petition to ban a certain food dye, red number 3, for cosmetics, which is a carcinogen even in small amounts. But they still allow it in children's cereal. There are a lot of problems with food dyes causing hyperactivity in children, neurological effects. But the big reason that they use these colorings in foods is to psychologically cause people to eat more of it. That's right. They've done studies and found that if certain foods have a certain color, people will eat more of it. Certain colors increase cravings, making it more attractive. But in junk foods, we don't have that. We have this entire illusion, making it appear to be something that's fresh. So synthetic food dyes stimulate appetite. People will eat more of it if they color the food. And there's one report, Kraft Food took out the coloring out of their mac and cheese in a certain country, and the sales just dropped. So they put it back in. One synthetic pigment made from petroleum is extremely healthy. I'm going to get to that, but I first want to talk a little bit about natural coloring pigments in other foods, whether it's a pigment in egg yolks or even the pigment in salmon that makes it slightly reddish. Natural pigments are considered antioxidants. And this is why these pigments are good as anti-inflammatories. They help protect the cells, and they especially help protect the mitochondria, which is the energy factory of the cell, where your body is taking food and converting it into energy. Dark leafy green vegetables have chlorophyll, that's green. Tomatoes have lycopene. These are all pigments that have a lot of cool, beneficial health properties. And also when you consume grass-fed meat or beef or lamb, you get a lot of these phytonutrients in the meat because these animals eat grass and herbs. So now let's talk about the one synthetic petroleum dye that actually is good for you. And this dye is called methylene blue. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was one of the first drugs ever developed. And I'm going to answer the question, why would this methylene blue dye be so healthy, whereas these other dyes are not? And that's because methylene blue is pharmaceutical grade. They used it for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, even bladder infections and cancer. The other key difference that you need to know between methylene blue and these other synthetic food dyes, they're both made from petroleum, but the chemistry of methylene blue is completely different. Really what methylene blue does, it gives the body energy even if there's damage within the energy factory. It's definitely good for any type of degenerative neurological disorder, but what about cancer? Because cancer originates from damaged mitochondria. Methylene blue comes in there, cleans things up, bypasses the damage, and reduces a lot of the oxidative stress, especially in your brain, especially for any type of chronic disease. This video is about consuming certain foods with pigments, not artificial or fake pigments, but real natural pigments. And not just in plants, but in animal products too, like the egg yolks. But even think about red meat. That has color, that has pigment too, right? So when we get into the synthetic dyes, these don't act as antioxidants. They don't reduce inflammation. They don't fix your mitochondria. They actually make it worse. They don't have nutritional cofactors like the pigments in food actually does. These have been linked to ADD, causing tumors in rats. And we don't have a lot of long-term research because who's going to spend money on that? Probably not industry. It can cause leaky gut in your GI tract. The effects are worsened when combined with preservatives. Well, I mean, take a look at junk food. They have a lot of preservatives. Some of these dyes are bioaccumulative, so they build up in the body. Whereas methylene blue does not accumulate. It actually, the kidneys get rid of it very easily. And again, because it's pharmaceutical grade, it doesn't have these impurities that this does. So I hope now you have a little more awareness on food dyes and why you should have your children avoid things like this with the dyes and things like this, and of course yourself. But methylene blue would be something that could help you, but also don't neglect the pigments in the rest of the food. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hey, before you leave, I just wanted to give you a little quick history on some of the books that I wrote. This was one of the first books. It's called Dr. Berg Body Shapes. It was my attempt at writing about body types. What was very interesting about this book is I actually did all the images myself. Don't ask me why. They look actually not quite as professional as some of the images that I have in the new book. But anyway, this is my first attempt right here called Dr. Berg's Body Shape Diets. And then I wrote a book more extensive called The 7 Principles of Fat Burning. I don't even have a copy anymore, actually, because it's outdated. The next book, I put about 1,000 hours into this one right here called The New Body Type Guide. Major updates on the body types. I put a lot of energy into this. It has professional images, graphics, all sorts of things. Now, the problem with this book is it doesn't really describe what this is really about. Body types are only a small portion of what's in this book. And that's why I changed the name to the Healthy Keto Plan, okay? If you happen to have this book, you don't really need this book because there's only very, very minor updates. But if you don't have this, you need to get this one right here. This book goes into every single detail that you would ever want to know about. It goes into the 7 principles of fat burning. It goes into hormones, the body types, the basic keto plan. It goes into intermittent fasting. I talk about the 10 fat burning triggers and blockers and fat burning strategies with a lot of details in every single chapter. I go into body issues that interfere with losing weight. There's very few people that just have a weight problem. They have a lot of body issues, whether it's sleeping problems, stress problems, inflammation, menopause. I cover that extensively in this book. Then I talk about how to get rid of stress, and I show you a technique. Then I get into exercising. And then I have a lot of really good recipes in this book as well. So this is a good reference guide. On my website, if you get this book, you get this one free. It's called Healthy Keto and Intermittent Fasting. This is the shortcut, quick guide to this book. And the reason I created this book is to have you, within 45 minutes, learn how to do keto, okay, in intermittent fasting, exactly what you need to do. Then you can fill in the blanks with this book right here. So right now I'm doing a special. If you get this book, you get this one totally free, or you can go to Amazon and get these individually. So I just want to clarify the difference between this book and this updated one right here. If you don't have this, you need to get this right here. That way you can get the exact correct information to do it healthily.